All right, let's take a look at the next division here, Cannons for Arms. And we're going to start off with Earth So Good. So, the good news for Earth So Good, last season won the championship, so that's pretty exciting, and a pretty good overall record, probably the third most success in the league with 2 second-place finishes and the first-place finish last year. Bad news, decimated roster, and even though they're in probably the worst division in the whole league, just very low chance of success, I think. So let's take a look at the roster. So we've got Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton at QB. This is a symptom of drafting Cam Newton. This is what happens when you draft Cam Newton. You end up having to take another quarterback because Cam Newton's got the high upside but the high injury risk as well. We've got Joe Mixon and Austin Eckler at running back. And then take a look at our next best running back. Maybe Singletary now. Ronald Jones is in the discussion. Reach for Darwin Thompson was too high, and then now that doesn't look like a good move at all. Usually a pretty good drafter, I think, and this draft just awful. Julio Jones, Westbrook, Sanders, serviceable, right? If AJ Green comes back, maybe he can compete a little bit. Zach Ertz, sweet, nice to have one of the top 3 tight ends, but I'm not sure if it can help this roster. This roster's pretty deplorable. And I think even though we're in a weak division here, we're going to get beat up on. We got Will Lutz at kicker. I like that. Baltimore Ravens defense, I like it, especially week 1. So I think this is going to be a rebuilding year for Ertz So Good. And regardless of how good Ertz is, it's not going to be enough probably. Let's take a look at Papa Giorgio. Papa Giorgio has never placed in this league, never got a first, second, or third place finish, even though, Josh Hagan does pretty well in fantasy in general, but in this league, he's had nothing but trouble. Taking a look here, we've got Drew Brees. He's got 3 quarterbacks on this roster, Brees, Allen, and Roethlisberger. Got him out. Imagine he took the Allen pick late in order to get some, get a chance at a good keeper there. Marlon Mack, Sony Michel, Geis, Justin Jackson, Duke Johnson. A lot of serviceable running back 2s here. Tony Pollard really dropped in value here over the last few days. Madison could end up being a good keep, perhaps. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. Keenan Allen, Juju, Jarvis Landry. I like his wide receivers a lot compared to the rest of the team. And Calvin Ridley, ooh, yeah. And James Washington, yeah. This is really good wide receivers compared to the rest of the roster. No tight end, so he's going to be looking to pick up a tight end shortly here, I should suspect. He's got a chance at winning this division. I think he's the second best team in the division after the next team we're going to look at, Moneymaker's team. He's got no kicker and no defense, though, so you're looking at all these guys on the bench, and I guess he's going to be cutting at least one of these quarterbacks, Pollard and something. So we'll see what he's going to do here. Maybe 2 of the quarterbacks and Pollard, or maybe one of the quarterbacks and Pollard and somebody. I don't know who. We'll see what he does. Definitely probably not worth tanking here, though, because he's, this is about as good a chance as you're going to get. This week of division is about as good as you could possibly hope for. Let's take a look at the last team in this division, which I think is the best team in the division. Money Schmakers. This is Moneymaker Mike's team, and though he hasn't had any success in this league previously, I think he's poised to win this division this time and give himself a good shot. He's got Kyler Murray at QB. Not terribly excited about that, but if you look at the rest of his roster, I think it's going to speak for itself. He's got Fournette and Carson at running back. Don't love McCoy. Don't love Royce Freeman, but I like these 2 starters. Hopkins, gotta love him. Boyd, like him a lot this year too. Watkins, sure, like Watkins. Got Hardman here, and Metcalf, and Miller, and Moncrief. These are all guys that could end up being decent keeps depending on where he got them in the draft. I think Miller too high, if I remember correctly, but I think he got a great deal on Hardman and Metcalf, which are probably the better picks anyways. Matt Prater at kicker, whatever. Seahawks defense, sure, especially week 1 looks good. I think he's poised to have the best shot at winning this division, and might be the 6th or 7th best team in this league, maybe. Papa Giorgio will probably give him a run once he picks up a kicker, a defense, and a tight end. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. This division, not exciting, and I think whatever team comes out of this division is probably going to be the weakest team that's in the playoffs. I would really expect only 1 team to come out of this division. So, and probably moneymakers, I would guess. Maybe Papa Giorgio, and I guess maybe they could both do it if they really beat up on Earth So Good. Maybe they could both make the playoffs. I guess that's not impossible. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I think this is going to be one of the weaker divisions, one of the less exciting ones. Definitely not two teams coming from here unless Earth So Good loses every game.